could a greater miracle take place than for us to look through each other's eyes for an instant?
Hi, Chris Dahlian here for Hoppy Game Dev. Today I'll be doing a little bit of a preview run of Mist Vision by Proxy, showing the level design for level 3. What you're seeing here is not in fact the opening cutscene for the game, but the cutscene for you've just finished level 2, and then you quit the game and came back to it. It's a flash game with a save feature. The prequel to this game was beatable in about 15 minutes. This new game has about an hour of gameplay, and so when you come back to the game now, it remembers where the player left off and lets them continue on their journey. I have to stress, of course, that this is not just a game by me. You can see I'm listed there too from the left. We had a whole bunch of help for art. Andrew Ho overled our production. We had music and sound and writing help, web design help. Lots of us on the team together helped make this happen, and lots of testers. For context, this is the sequel to Vision by Proxy Second Edition, which you're now seeing the opening cutscene from. Vision by Proxy Second Edition we released about 18 months ago. We took about a school year or so to finish, and this was a game that 4 of us who stuck around for Mist Vision by Proxy worked on together. Christine, who made our cutscenes. And the story here is we had this blue alien, huge eyeball alien, landed on Earth and crash landed on Earth rather, and couldn't find his engine parts. That must have fallen out. And so he has to strike out into Earth and find his engine parts. And the problem is that he has a huge eyeball. He might have evolved on a planet further away from the star than the Earth is from the sun, so he can barely see. He's kind of blinded by Earth's light. You can see his messed up vision, sort of the trippy effect I worked in there. So in order to navigate, he needs to borrow human eyes. And so here he has the gardener's eye, and so he can see like, oh, that's a shed, I can walk in front of that, and that's a tree, I can walk, around that. And you can see there's an architect up in the tree. There's a vine there that only the gardener can see, and the gardener can see inside the house in order to get this child's eye. With the child's eye, the child has a greater imagination than these other characters. So she sees a big dinosaur head, a little Lego building in place of a tree, but he can't walk around a Lego building like he can the tree, so you have to switch eyes to get different perspectives to change how you navigate. And so the little girl sees the clouds as bunnies that can be ridden by the player. And, in this way you navigate the world by changing between the eyes. That game itself, Second Edition, so called because it was a remake of Vision by Proxy, and this was the very, very original. I wasn't involved in this project. This was made originally for Dr. Celia Pierce's class at Georgia Tech, Games as Cultural Artifacts. And Rose Ping and Andrew Ho stuck around from this original team onto these later games, but otherwise this was a different set of people helping with the programming and so on. This was originally made in Flash animation software, as opposed to later games which we programmed in ActionScript 3, and it actually had the exact same set of 3 character eyes as Second Edition. It still had the gardener, which you're seeing here, the architect, which you'll see in a moment, and the little girl. But this is a one-level game. This is kind of a proof of concept. But the concept was strong enough, this was actually showcased at E3 through the Indiecade booth, and that's actually how I had first heard about it. I thought the concept was spectacular. I'll skip a moment ahead. You can see we also have like riding the bunny as a mechanic we borrowed from this original game. But I felt like it was a really great idea. We just needed to add more to the concept to sort of give it some extra life. Okay, now going back to Mist Vision by Proxy, the newest game in the series, we'll start the level. And you'll see the first thing we've done is we've modified how the alien eye effect works. The old one we received complaints by subfolks who, people thought it was neat but kind of headachy, and now there's a whole different system for how the alien eye disseminates light into the environment around it. And so we have a silhouette of the character, the first character you can get in this level. We're only level 3, so we kind of give you something up front. And immediately after getting that character, we can see there's another one here behind this barrier, and we have the clue like, okay, how am I going to get over there? One of the things that this manga eye or otaku eye can see is floating hearts that can be ridden. So we ride it up to the top, hoping maybe we can jump over the top. We see some jellyfish in the sky. And there you can see the edge of the item, where we're looking for that teddy bear this level. You can't make that jump. And of course, in designing this level, it was important to me to make that distance long enough that you would make no mistake. You did nowhere near making the jump. If someone's close to making the jump, then they get frustrated because they try and try again, thinking they can do it. It's important that if they can't make the jump, you visually make it clear that they're never going to make it. Here we've got sort of some layered effect. You can walk in front of or behind. You can walk behind them in front of the building. That was something that the old game engine didn't support. It was added specifically for Mist Vision by Proxy. And here you can kind of see a ledge up there and a heart, and we're trying to give the player a clue that they need to think of something else. Switching to the alien eye, there you can see that that little rock turns into this taller structure. which, you know, if they overshoot it, they can get stuck on the side. You can switch back to manga eye to get over. One of the challenges for a game like this is we had to design the levels in such a way that at any given time, based on the eyes the player would have, they couldn't get stuck, because we don't have a reset functionality and didn't want the game to flow like that. You can see here that the alien eye see is this sort of faded wing kind of shape for where the heart goes, so the player can see where it is. Here we could jump over to the gamer directly. I'm instead going to show you the shortcut. A lot of these levels have more than one way to play through them, so we can also get up to the second layer of this temple by using the alien eye's view of that building, and then from there we can get the gamer directly. A lot of players play this game and think it's very linear, like there's only one way to solve it, when really they just played one way to solve it, but there's, for many of our levels, multiple solutions or multiple ways to go about it, including a number of kind of more clever shortcuts. Now, from the gamer eye, the clouds are stationary and can be walked on, as they are in a lot of old video games, stationary clouds that can be walked on. And you can see we have this mapping of, you can see the jellyfish that turn into the clouds. So the manga or taku eye sees jellyfish where the clouds are. Things like this, even though you can't land on the jellyfish, are necessary for the player to line up jumps between eyes. You can see there the alien eye view of that building is completely different in structure. One of the things that we have the player gradually discovering is that for the alien eye, each structure is picked from a different eye. So we have a sort of assortment of different things in the area. So here you can see you can climb up this vine that you can see it through the gamer's eye. But in the manga eye, there's no vine there. Can't see it at all. In the alien eye, he sees the manga mech shape for the skyscraper and the vine that's there for the gamer. But it can't be climbed as the alien eye. It can only be climbed as the gamer. And of course, that vine's sort of inspired by old Super Mario Brothers games where you'd get a vine up into the clouds for a bonus stage or bonus area. Partly derived from the idea of we had the vine for the gardener. We have a number of tooltips in this game. So here we found some testers weren't noticing that the clouds moved when you switch eyes. So here we could have made the jump over to that portal. But if we switch eyes for a moment, same story as the little heart wings. You can see the sort of puffy, immaterial things in the alien eye to see the clouds moving. Another position from which we could jump over to that portal. I put a heart there, so if they switch to the manga eye, they're not lost. It's low enough in the game, they might not yet have figured out what the different symbols are, and so that helps them keep the situation in the sky. We jump into the portal, we fall out right next to that gardener we saw earlier. And off to the right, you can see the manga character who's had her eye taken. And so you're situated as, okay, this is the start of the level. This was that obstacle that I initially found next to that hill, that little landmark to the right, and I didn't know a way around. An earlier version of this game, the portal for the gamer eye was lower, and we had a player find her way back through the portal here in the gamer eye by jumping up into it, and then getting lost not knowing how to get to the teddy bear. What she didn't get was the classic game convention from like Super Mario World and other old games of that grill on the right, that grate, you can climb that. It's a lattice, you know. But now, because we give the player no other way out of the situation besides walking to the right, they're forced to sort of find the solution of the few things they can try to do, that they must be able to walk in front of or behind that. So when they try it, there we go, she automatically climbs. You don't have to press up in our game to see her activate her climbing animation. Just walking in front of it does to teach the player, oh, okay, well, I can climb this shape. If I can go left and right, I can probably go up and down, and sure enough, yes, you can. And so she climbs up, and we follow the same journey that we had earlier in the level when we followed the heart up into the sky. You can see the gardener sees kind of nice puffy clouds instead of jellyfish or instead of other things. Got the teddy bear, which is the level's goal object. Now, I want to stress the reason why that's possible in this game to use these hearts and watch this ledge off to the left side. Notice how far the view is from the alien, right? This is the full distance of the screen, further than the character can jump. This was actually not possible in the previous version of the engine. The one we made for the one I programmed for Vision by Proxy Second Edition could not be done that way because the character was always locked in the middle of the screen, as you can see here. I'm stuck dead in the middle. But anyway, back to Vision by Proxy. When we switch to the alien eye and we have found the object and the portal opens up, there's our wormhole and you can walk into it. And we sort of move on to the next cutscene in which she walks out there and she's delivered her item she's found to her pile. And as to why she's making a pile, what this is all about, what our story is, we're pretty pleased with it. You're going to have to play the game to find out. The game will be released in probably another week or two or so. It's Vision by Proxy, coming out sometime this month, probably earlier in this month rather than later. Chris Dion for Hobby Game Dev. Check it out.